realizing that you're going to be a single dad. So I kind of want to make this video. I have some other videos that kind of go through like the process of after family court and kind of co-parenting. But I kind of wanted to go through the steps of when I finally realized that the dreams of what I want for a relationship were not going to happen. So I got home from the Army in 2018, and that's when I found I had my son. And pretty much the entirety of my relationship was kind of unhealthy. We just never were able to get it right. We had similar values as far as our faith, but in actual practice of being a couple, it just never really happened. So again, before I left for basic, or a couple months before basic, we had a miscarriage. And that's when my son came from, was the aftermath of the miscarriage, which I have a video about. So basically I came home from the Army and I was trying to find a new career, and just our vision of what we wanted our relationship to be just didn't align, and having a young child at home kind of made it impossible to have that closeness and that bond, because our baby took over majority of the time that we spent awake was taking care of him. I worked in restaurants. I worked in nights, and she worked in the mornings, and then didn't really overlap really. And then when I finally got a job as a paralegal, I was working during the day and serving tables at night. So that brought a lot of attention to us, and we had a lot of issues before me leaving, and it just didn't, or what we wanted just didn't mesh. I thought myself as being like the provider and the one that takes care of the family, and just the way we saw things just didn't align on that path. But I never wanted the relationship to end. Like, in my mind, I always played through my head of what I wanted our relationship to be. I had the fantasies and the dreams of getting a house, becoming successful, giving our child the best life possible, giving my stepson the best life possible. And we just kept breaking up, getting back together, breaking up. I would move out, I'd move back in, I'd move out, move back in. And then one day I was supposed to move back in, and for whatever reason, we had a blow up. Because when you're not getting along, it's little things that, little tiny seeds end up being giant explosions, unfortunately. And just got to be one too many times, and we split up. And a couple weeks later, I got served with custody papers, and that really hurt. And I think it kind of put into perspective that the vision I had for us just wasn't gonna happen. And up until that point, I never really had my own place on my own. I always had roommates, so we would rent a house, or I would stay at an apartment with them, but it was never on my own. So this part of it was really hard for me, because again, I always held out hope that our relationship would work out. And once those custody papers were served to me, I knew that I had to step up and kind of take the role of what I didn't want to. And even those days, I still hoped that maybe things would work out. But getting those papers and moving back to my parents' house and staying there, I realized that I wasn't going to get what I wanted from custody if I didn't move out and get my own place. So this is post-COVID 2022. It was still hard to find places to live. So I looked a lot of places, and honestly, places were super expensive. And at this point, I wasn't really making good money in my civilian job. And so I was weighted down by child support and still trying to do the right thing and take care of my son. And I had to find an apartment, and starting my life all brand new was really difficult. I didn't have any things. Everything I had with my ex, we had together. Couches, TVs, beds, pictures, that was all a joint family possessions, and it didn't really make sense that he stayed with her because she was his mother. Which, and when I look back, I probably should have stood up a little bit more then, but I think being her second child and my first child, I was pretty intimidated by the circumstance, and I took a lot of concessions that I wish I wouldn't have, because it led to more difficult things down the road. But unfortunately, I hope that my mistakes end up being something that helps one of you out there. Is I kind of lay down for the original custody order, and I did it because I thought it was just going to be a formality and that we'd be able to work things out eventually. But then I learned a lot about the relationship and the way we got along, and I just realized that it wasn't going to work out that way. But by that time, I already had the custody agreement in hand, and when I finally did fight for it, unfortunately, you can only fight for what has changed since the last custody agreement. And by agreeing to the original one, I basically threw out anything that I had to say, hey, I should have more time. So that's my lesson to you guys is, once you realize that it's over, and before you do anything, objectively think about what you want as a dad and what you want as a parent. And you need to voice those things, even if it leads to friction at the time, because it's really hard to undo something you already do. You already put into law, or that's signed by a judge. So be really conscious of what you want and make sure you don't settle, because again, if you're fighting that much, you're to the point where you're doing a custody agreement, your relationship's probably not gonna to heal and become what you hoped it was. And again, that's a really hard thing to admit to. Being a single dad has been extremely difficult. But again, I've become the best version of myself, and I'm the best father I could be because I am a single dad. And when I'm with him, I'm alone with him, so I can teach him how I want to. I can teach him to be a man like I want him to be a man, and I can teach him manners and how to treat people and how to do certain things, and I can be disciplinary in ways that I couldn't be with her. And I don't have that part where we're second guessing each other about who's right, who's wrong, because honestly, all that's just really unhealthy anyways. When you're in a relationship that's not ideal, you're kind of always nitpicking at each other, and you're starting little arguments, and your kids feel that. And when they see that, and they see an upset parent or another parent's angry, then you're taking away from the good parts that you're having with them, and now they're seeing that. So I would say that it really sucked in the beginning because I really truly wanted that relationship to work out. I wanted to get married, I wanted to grow old with her, and I wanted my son and her son to be with us for the rest of our lives until he moved out, and it just didn't happen. And I think, again, I could finally be the best version of myself, even though it didn't really feel like it at that time. So I guess I would tell you guys that you want the relationship to work out, and you search online for all these ways to win your ex back. And unfortunately, it never really works out that way, because even if you do get back together, there's something that's still there that's going to lead to arguments and fighting, and it's just not healthy for anybody, especially your kids. And honestly, when I think about it, like, the fact that I've had 4 years now with my son to kind of give and build that relationship with him, like, yeah, it's hard on him because he still wants mom and dad together because he loves both of us equal. But I know that in the long run, he's going to learn more things from me because of the strong lessons that he learned from me while being together. So again, accepting the end of the relationship is the key component to moving forward to being the best dad you can possibly be. I still struggle with a lot of things, honestly, like dating. So that relationship took a lot out of me. Like, I I was mentally drained from that relationship because I thought it was going to be my last one. And unfortunately, when you get burned and you go to court and you go through all these things, and there's a lot of things that are said about you, you kind of question what you think real love really is anymore. I mean, prior to that, I was in love, and I used to be a helpless romantic. And once that ended, I was pretty jaded, and I just didn't want that anymore. I wanted to be alone, and it felt more comfortable being alone. And when I spent time with my son, I was not distracted by outside noise and trying to find a new relationship. I was just focused on being the best dad I could because, again, like I touched on other videos, I didn't have the best dad growing up. So, which was an incredible motivator for me as a dad, because I want to be present and I want to have meaningful conversations and meaningful memories, and I want him to not look back and have the same feelings I have towards my father. Obviously, one day we're gonna clash, and we might not agree on everything, but when he looks back, he'll always know that dad did the very best he could for him, and he would sacrifice anything to make him happy. And I still sacrifice a lot, and I'm living in an apartment instead of living in a house, and I'm driving an older car than I probably wish I was. But again, these are all monetary things, and these are all things that can be replaced. The memories that you build and that bond that you build with them, that's irreplaceable. So yes, there's concessions to it, and yes, I've taken financial hits and emotional hits, but like I talked about one of my other videos, I think adversity is the ultimate teacher, and it kind of gives you a whole new perspective, and it really allows you to be grateful and thankful for the good things that you do have. Like, again, like, lost a lot of money, I lost a lot of time, I lost a lot of, like, emotional stability in myself, but I learned so much from myself in those times, and I know moving forward I'm going to be the very best version of myself. So I'd like to keep this conversation going. If you guys are going through the end of a relationship right now and you're struggling, comment below. I would love to be able to kind of help you through these times, and hopefully I can help you see a little more clarity, because I was in your shoes. I was at my lowest points, and I was at the ultimate low, and I worked through it, and thankfully I never made any abrupt choices or decisions that would have altered not just my life but my son's life. So comment below if you found this to be helpful. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I look forward to having more conversations. May God bless you and your families.